Hi, family. Pleased if you can make it.
I am who I am, that is that. I am who I am, that is that. I am who I am.
Glad if you can make it, family. We're going to start in just 12 or 13 minutes. We'll start at 4:13 sharp Mountain Standard Time. I just want to let it breathe. Say what's up if you're in the chat. Hang tight for 13 minutes. Enjoy the music. You know how we do here. We just let it breathe and allow people to jump into the broadcast. Enjoy these couple of songs, family. Talks amongst each other in the chat. I love y'all. I'm going to talk about the future. What we can do in the now to help the future. Make a difference right now. I see Debbie Bell had commented that I had erased many comments. I just barely jumped in. Good to see you, Jamie. Good to see you, Debbie. If you're joining us, say hi. I'm going to grab some water and let you guys enjoy this music. Just get in the vibe. Some very positive things we're going to be talking about today. And it's all steeped in love. And so be in love today, family. Be in the moment right now. Breathe deep. Enjoy the music. Have a heart of gratitude and love.
Peace on the earth. God bless the children. How we love them.
Good to see you, Paulo.
Joy to the world. Peace on the earth.
I'm just going to let it breathe, let it air out, and let people jump into the broadcast. I see 6 eyeballs already. Thank you very much, Jamie. I'm feeling those vibes of healing, and I'm already receiving them. I've got some good updates with that as well. So sit tight, guys. Enjoy the music. There's going to be one more song after this one, and then we'll start talking about Project H.E.L.P. and some visions for what's for the future and what we can do right now to make a difference in the lives of those that are hurting, who feel lost and abandoned. We can make a difference in their life right now. Good to see you, Debbie Bell. I'm glad you could jump into the chat. I'm going to grab some water, guys. Enjoy these songs and sit tight. We'll start at 4:13 Mountain Standard Time. I'm sorry, I put the wrong thing in there. I meant 43. Let me hide that ticker and 43. There we go. I wasn't sure if I was going to go live at 4 or 4:30, and I had the wrong ticker up. There we go. So I'll be back in just a few minutes, family. Again, enjoy the music. And love, 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 and gratitude.
the earth. God bless the children, how we love them. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless the children, how we love them. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless the children, 'cause we love them. God love the children. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless the children, how we love them. Joy to the world, joy to the sun, peace on the earth. God bless the children, how we love them, how we love them. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless the children, 'cause we love them. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless the children, 'cause we love them. God bless the child. Joy to the sun, peace on the earth. God bless the children, 'cause we love them. There is one God. Joy, peace on the sun, peace. God bless that child. God bless the children, 'cause we love them. Yes, we love them. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless the children, 'cause we love them. How we love them. Joy, God bless the child. Peace on the earth. God bless the children, 'cause we love them. We love them with our hearts.
Behind every song that plays on the radio, every footstep in a movie, every video that plays on the big screen, or every performance that moves us, there's a creative talent that fuels that experience. Visit ipr.edu.
Hey guys, Anna and Vito and Luca LaFata here with the Visionary Planner, and we wanted to talk about something near and dear to our heart, and that is family. That is, what kind of business can you build that gives you more freedom to make memories with the people that you love the most? And we truly believe that it's the online business. It's given us our life. It's given us so much time to spend with Luca, and even potentially more family down the line, right?
Slow down. Slow down.
I know,
but if
right?
you're like, I want to start building a business as compared to the job or the brick and mortar businesses that can take you away from family, it can cost you time with family. Today, it's just, we know it's the online business model. We even coach it where it's like, this is the future of family business.
Yeah.
This little man will grow up knowing nothing but the fact that, like, I'm at the computer. I can
If you have anything to do with it, he's only gonna. But seriously, when we thought about, the future we wanted to have, we're like, how can we scale, make more money in the least amount of time, right? And how can we automate things? How can we not have to show up every day and make sure that things are still happening and business is still running and income is still coming in without always having to be there? Right?
That was just building an online business. And today, you can't say anymore like, I don't know where to get started. the mentors, the roadmap, the environment are all out there. You simply have to choose which one is the right one for you and start saying, I'm serious, I'm committed. I do want more time with my family before the death comes or the disease comes or the reality in life where also we're like, I wish I had done this sooner. At this point, we know anything can happen at any moment in life, right? Now you just have to simply decide to get ahead of it versus be behind it. We just decided that before we had kids, we're like, we want to be in the situation that by the time we have kids, we can be home, we can be here, we can take care of them, we can see the first memories and moments.
You guys, Vito is so, business coach oriented, but when we're just family, he's nothing but a goofball, and Luca gets to see him every day.
Vote down below if you'd like to see me hit Anna with
Vote below if you would like to see Vito do his daddy voice to Luca in the morning.
No,
it is the cutest thing ever.
Stay focused here, people, that at this point, tech is no longer a problem. The process is no longer a problem. You simply got to decide to be serious and say, today is the day I start. Today is the day I get serious. Today is the day I get committed to this. Because it ain't coming by wishing, hoping, or praying. It's coming by you taking action to get this thing happening. So hopefully down below, if you're serious about starting an online business and getting more time with your weird kids and whatnot, you're going to get this thing going. And we got a little startup kit down below for you to kind of get jamming and get going. Just like he takes his first steps, you can take your first steps to start building an online business that creates more memories with your family.
Behind every song that plays on the radio, every footstep in a movie, every video that plays on the big screen, or every performance that moves us, there's a creative talent that fuels that experience. Visit ipr.edu.
I did not realize you guys have been stuck on a commercial this whole time. I apologize. That was not cool. I apologize for that, guys. Stinking YouTube and their commercials. I did not endorse that. I don't even know what that was. Hopefully I can edit it out. But for the live stream again, I was hoping people would jump in, and it looks like we lost some people because of the commercial.
Peace within me. Peace surrounding me. Peace from me. By thy grace, let there be peace.
All right, guys, we are live. And so we're going to start talking about this Project H.E.L.P. Actually,
surrounding me. Peace from me. By thy grace, let there be.
Change my shirt. So how's everybody doing today? I see a few of you stayed in there. I see 3 eyeballs up. And so thank you for hanging in there. I just wanted to get some water and allow some people to jump in. It looks like we jumped up to 6-7 people before I left. Here's five eyeballs back. So I'm glad to see you guys. I am here. And we're going to start talking right now about Project H.E.L.P. You know, I've been feeling a lot better. I've been self-medicating, going the route of not doing the big pharma thing and doing chemo, doing all of the other various things, having surgery, having pieces of my body cut out. And I've been feeling a lot better. And so I really want to move forward in some things that God has shown me that Let's see. There we go. There's the cam. So let me turn this down. And so Project Help, man. Hey, Becky Perry, glad you could jump in. I see John King jumped in. Best Damn Podcast. Hopefully he's getting his channel back soon. I love that, brother. I'll be giving him a call as soon as this live stream is over and talking about a collaboration with him as well, because he's just always on the grind, getting getting information out there, pertinent information for the times that we're in. It's just ridiculous the amount of propaganda and false news that's out there, and it really takes the seekers to be wading through it all and to really truly come to a understanding of what's going on, connecting the dots, and realizing that so many of the things that we've been taught are a lie. We've been lied to. So many things in society that we hold dear and just really hold near and dear have just been falsified. And people are waking up that the things around us are rigged. I mean, the system that we live in is rigged, and it can really cause a huge crash in one's vibrational frequency. It can really just cause people to hit a brick wall, so to speak, when it comes to seeking that truth. You find these conspiracies that you consider would be outlandish to actually be true. Like you consider them conspiracy theories all your life, and you blow them off, and you but at some point you find a nugget. That leads to another nugget, a bigger rock. And as you turn these rocks over, you start finding these truths that are mind-blowing, that are like really do shake you. And once you begin that process of waking up to the fact that everything as it seems around us, as it's been built around us. Let me take this ticker off because we are starting. So let me remove this banner. I do want to encourage you guys really quick before we continue on. I want to continue guys to subscribe. If you haven't already, hit the bell for notifications. Be sure to tap the all when you do that, and like and share the content. I share a lot of content regarding our human physiology and the way that it ties in with spiritual and metaphysical aspects. The demons that we face, and even the dis-ease that we can have in our body and in our minds can manifest as disease in our bodies and in our minds. And so there's some amazing videos up that have scientific backing. Like I don't just speak out of my ear. A lot of the things that I talk about are very legitimate and have been just recently found out over the past decade, recently discovered. And a lot of it, some of the stuff I go into has to do with esoteric wisdom, writings, and spiritual writings from various cultures, and the way that they all correlate, the way that they all link up together. Everything is connected, and there's keys in all of it. And so I talk a little bit about that. I talk about some of the facade that we're under, and those that are perpetrating it, the so-called Illuminati and the Cabal networks that are really manipulating the reality that we live in today. It really is a mind for the prison. And so when you start to wake up to this, it really becomes easier to spot the lies, the things, the deceptions that we're under, right? That we're surrounded by lies, and our sources of information. That is fake news, right? That's what Trump started. I said chump. What Trump started coining, you are fake news. You are fake news. And so it's all disclosure, family. We're seeing that the news is fake. The media is fake. The food that we eat, we're learning more and more every day about GMOs and the detrimental effects that these GMOs have on our bodies, the things that they can create in us, and even the farce that our education system is, government, pretty much everything uh, that we live by and that we've been raised to know as truth is shrouded in lies. And so I reveal a lot of this, how the Illuminati networks tie in with religion and government, and just all of these various things. And so hit the, be sure and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. You can add me on Facebook. Um, Add me on Facebook, Walk in Wisdom 888, Facebook / Walk in Wisdom 888. Like our jewelry page, Stardust City Creations, and be sure and go like the page Project Help, help helping everyone love people. And so this is about helping everyone love people and love our planet. There's a lot of things that we talk about today, man. The homeless problem, the just like the financial crisis that we've seen happen multiple times in our society, to where the dollar crashes or we hit these recessions and things get really hard. And in the past they've been extremely hard. And so we need to understand some of the things that are going on today in our world and what we can do to prepare for those things. And so if you want to support the work that I do in the making of these videos, and also in the vision that I'm going to be talking about today, and just even simply helping my family in this time that I'm getting better. I am healing, family. I haven't bled for a little over a week. I've been steadily taking my FICO oils, the full extract cannabis oil. In fact, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what the future looks like with providing that for other people that are dealing with terminal illnesses or cancer. These things that all hope is taken away from and stripped from these people when they get these diagnoses and these just the terms that are used. And it can really be a mind, it can really screw with the mind and put you in a position where you're perpetuating that sickness and you're exacerbating it. And so I also teach about that, stress, cortisol, adrenaline. When there's an excess of that in the body, it can really just exacerbate the cancer or even cause cancer. And so I cover a lot of this in my material. And so if you want to support any of that work, you can do that. I do have a GoFundMe that I made when I got really sick. And so if you want to donate to that right now, I'm looking at changing that up. We do still need some help. But I want to include Project Help in that somehow, because I want to make a difference now, family. I want to be a world changer and a difference maker. And I know God's shown me how to do that. The Creator has shown me how to move forward in what that commandment of love God with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And so I want to be faithful in that, and I want to move forward in that. And so I'm looking for donations to start that as well. And so if you want to donate and support the cause, the research I do, and my improving of health, I believe I'm healing. I believe that I'm healed, and that I'm walking into that healing right now. And as I do that, I want to be faithful in the work that God is calling me to do as well. And so there's my PayPal there. You can donate to the Venmo at Joseph Cisneros -Cisneros-76, paypal.me / walk in wisdom, or the Cash App, which is the $JWC44. And again, the Venmo is at Joseph Cisneros what did I say, 76. And so those are ways that you can help the cause. And so onward to talking about the cause. and moving forward in those things. But like I said, be sure and subscribe, tap all, and share the content because it's very, very pertinent content. And God is good is winning. Paulo, is it Paulo or Paulo? Uh, anyway, God is winning. It's a positive that things are changing. Um, he says, but some people were that evil that public couldn't handle the truth. Oh man, I'm telling you. I mean, that's one of the things that people are waking up to. The media. I've seen this meme, and it's like in the news today. Some more shit we made up, and so it's one of those things where in order for us to continue to believe in our government and the system that our world leaders have put in place, the facade that it's built on to keep us supporting it, the government has to have full control over the media. And so that's some of the things that we've seen. And I don't have the actual bill that was passed, but Obama passed a bill during one of his terms that it made it legal for for uh, propaganda to be spread, and it can be just be false. That's why there's so much false media. And even before that, I mean, so much of what we've been given with history is a lie. But the media is very important to the government and the world system. That we're told that journalism is based on truth, on accuracy, right? But it's easy to see exactly how uninformed society is, right? Just by turning on the news and the conflicting news that we have, and it's just become this huge theatrical show. And so the majority of information that we hear doesn't even have anything to do with what's really going on in the world. There's so much good going on in the world, and we're being fed all of this propaganda, all of these lies and this fear porn, and just have you experienced coronavirus? Do you know people that are literally experiencing it right now? The way that some of these things spread are through that fear. It can cause your immune system to be compromised, and then you take on things and even create disease in your body. And so we have to be careful about some of this false news that we're taking in, and understand that there is a completely skewed version of what's actually going on in the world that we're being given through any of these media outlets, right? It's usually to support the narrative of the people in power. And so we have to understand that, right? There's multiple ways to dig and do your research and find out what the facts are on a lot of these things. Food, health, environment. Our food has been messed with, our medicine, our environment. We're constantly being poisoned, right? This is not conspiracy theory anymore. This is proven fact that through all of the propaganda that's been put out through the government, the corporations, the World Health Organization, the UN, and all of these various, the CDC, all of these various organizations that are all government tied organizations. It's they're responsible for the propagation and perpetuation of the use of these toxins. So you can't really depend on media to tell you the truth. And even then, some of these things are coming out via disclosure. And so you know that these things are happening, right? You know that there is a lot of truth behind these conspiracy theories. The facts about GMOs. Do some research. Like, don't just Google and hit the very first article. Dig a little bit, go a couple of pages in and look at all of the different alternative facts, and use this to discern what's true and what's not. The chemicals, preservatives, the nitrates that are just filled, just dumped into our foods in massive amounts, kill us slowly over time, and sometimes not so slowly. It doesn't matter how safe we feel our sources of food are unless we know where they're coming from. And if they're coming from the corporate world, then they're not. It doesn't matter what they say or what they put on the labels. They're not. And so I'm gonna just jump on here and make sure audio and everything is coming through. If you guys are watching, can you just throw a comment in the chat that everything is coming through okay? I don't have it pulled up, so I'm gonna just pop on there. That way I can monitor the chat and make sure that everything is coming through okay. It looks okay. So, family, we have to, and it's important. These things that I'm talking about are important. I want us to understand that I'm going somewhere with this. The GMOs in our foods, all of these things, if they're coming from the corporate world, we're trusting somebody with our health, with what we're consuming, and so many labels are mislabeled or just misleading in their labels. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. And so we have to know where our food is coming from. It's good to research local organic farmers, and it's not even just organics. Just make sure that you're not taking in all kinds of processed foods and GMO foods. It's something that I've been working hard to get myself away from and move my family away from. A lot of the heavy mucus causing foods. You limit a lot of what you eat. You restrict what you eat. You got to be disciplined, and there's a lot in scripture about discipline. So even if you're a believer and you want to get scriptural about it, you have to be disciplined in some of these things and not just be careless with what we're taking in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and so we're going to talk about that with the geothermal homes and some of these micro farms, these micro gardens, that I'm really feeling led to teach people how to build for themselves, for their own living space. Teach people how to build and plant and be self-sustaining, collect water, and just be self-sustaining in all areas, in all things. Excuse me, family. And so, as we're coming to the realization of these GMOs being detrimental for our health, we have to just really understand that it's not just our health they're affecting; it's the entire environment, right? Our pharmaceuticals, majority of cases, most of the time, I mean, you see these commercials with the side effects. It's ridiculous the amount of side effects that are actually diseases that are perpetuated and created by the pharmaceuticals that we're on, right? They don't just sometimes they treat the symptoms of a disease, but oftentimes they perpetuate that disease or they create more diseases. They don't even ward off devastating symptoms. A lot of times they just mask the actual disease and the symptoms, and then that's where these devastating instances of oh man, he had a heart attack, or he just came down with this illness, and he had cancer, and it just took him like that. And it's these things that are supposed to be good that we call good. We're in that time where the things that are called good are going to be called evil, and the things that are called evil are going to be called good. And so all of the natural herbal healing holistic type medications are being called evil, and even in religious circles it's being considered witchcraft. And it's just ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? But yet we take these chemicals, which is actually pharmakia, which is actually witchcraft in the Bible, and we have witchcraft is a whole other episode, because there's a lot of demonization of things that were naturally given to us as tools to heal ourselves. And so we have to understand these things and move away from doing a lot of these things. And that's what Project Help is about as well. We'll get into the herbal aspects of just growing natural herbs and providing medications through these herbal remedies, and helping people get past some of these diseases that the technologies in our life cause, that the go 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 and the worry and the anxiety cause in our life, the working ourselves to death, working ourselves for that retirement, and then not even getting to live to enjoy that retirement. You're lucky if you make it to the retirement. My father-in-law was just a couple of years, I think a year away from retirement, and it's ridiculous, you know. It's the system is built that way, family. And so we have to realize this and figure out, how do we help one another? How do we help this problem that we've created, right? We also have to take accountability that we've walked into this and we've accepted this and we've consented to this. And so I don't want to consent anymore, family. What do we do? My lovely bride is able to jump into the chat. It's always wonderful to see her in the chat. And so, you know, a lot of these things. And Debbie, I'd like to talk about those autoimmune diseases. And there's healing for you, dear. There's healing for you, because there's so much research I've done regarding the endocrine system and the physiology, tied in with spirituality, and the healing that Jesus Christ did, and or that it's recorded in Scripture that He did. You know, we have those abilities. He said that you would do greater works than I. And so I'd love to, you know, just shoot you a message on Facebook or something regarding some of the things that you're dealing with, and some ways to really tackle those things head on, understanding that you have the power within you to overcome these things. And my son is just a whiz at herbs, and I mean, their benefits, and the way to mix tinctures and just these herbal remedies. My wife has a lot of information on the healing properties of crystals. And so I'd love to send you some information, Debbie. That's one of the things that Project Help is about. I want to share the information that I have, the wisdom that my family has, that we've all been given by the Creator. I want to use that and share it with people. And I also want to use our physical abilities. I'm alive right now. I was dying like a month ago. I was dying. I hit 135 pounds. I was bleeding out of both ends. I mean, I was bleeding all different types of blood. So I had problems in my gut, in my intestines, in my colon. I had problems. I know I had problems with my liver and my kidneys. I was dying, man. But God is the Creator has given us the ability to heal. And I know that the reasons why I've gone through the dark valley that I've gone through, and that my family has gone through, is for that reason, to share that which I've seen firsthand, which you've shown me firsthand, which I can testify of firsthand, and to let you know, to be confident, and to not fear, because we have the ability to heal, and also to I mean, this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people, but to really slow down the aging process, and to even kind of heal that aging process. You know, fasting has been proven recently to spur and not just propel, but perpetuate, and really just uh, expand the regeneration of stem cells in our bodies. And so when we start to understand the ability that we have to heal ourselves on so many levels, and a brother of mine, Fabian, on Facebook, I got to share some of his information in some of my shows, and ask him if I can get him on the channel, because he's just amazing at some of these metaphysical properties in the ether, and in the minerals that we have in our earth, and in the air, and just some of the properties that we have, the etheric properties that we have to heal ourselves, even in hydrogen and baking soda, and just in so many different things. We have these abilities. And so that's what Project Help is about. You know, we got to really understand that as these things cause these devastating symptoms, there's a cure for even these things that we've done to our bodies with the food and with the pharmaceuticals and all of that stuff. And so, we really have to be aware of education. The mainstream education system is one of the most important factors behind the state of our society today. I mean, I'm not ashamed in stating that, and honestly, I don't give a damn who um, you know who feels some type of way about this, but marijuana. I've got a bowl sitting right in front of me that is been demonized so much in the education system and throughout religion. Um, and really, it's God's natural healing plant. It's his herbal remedy. I've been eating fecal oil, and it's been healing my internals. The cannabinoids stem or produce help produce cannabinoids in the brain, and so and supplement cannabinoids that my brain is already supposed to be producing, but because of the foods and the poisons and all of that, it can cause a delay in the production of these things. And so we have to be aware of the society that we live in and the reality that we live in, and the fact that we have a way to battle against these things. You know what I'm saying? And we can make a difference today. We don't have to wait for a Messiah. The Messiah is here. He's in each and every one of us. Christ consciousness is rising, and people are rising to that universal consciousness, that quantum consciousness that is God. That, it says in Scripture, again, if you want to point to Scripture and try and use that to demonize the things I'm talking about, it says that all things will be known as they should be, and that He'll use the foolish to shame the wise. And so many people think that I'm a fool, especially people that I served in the pastorate with, think that I'm a fool because of these revelations, and they try and demonize me and say, oh, well, you think you've been given this special revelation like Joseph Smith, and you want to start a cult. No, fam. A lot of people know these things. Again, Martin Kenny, go check him out. Go check out his YouTube. Go check him out on Facebook. Sivan Bomar Understanding channel here on YouTube. Check him out on Facebook. Check out the Secret Energy app or the Secret Energy website. I mean, these guys are metaphysical savants, and they really understand the physiological aspects of finding balance in all of the elements that our bodies consist of, and even rising above that which we've been locked into. And we've been locked into a lower vibrational frequency that isn't our natural frequency. Again, everything is resonant waves, waveforms that are just vibrating at various oscillation rates. And so if everything is energy, we have the power to transmute that energy, and even to make this reality that's in front of us malleable, like Christ did. He said that with the faith of a mustard seed, we'd be able to cast mountains into the ocean. And so I don't see why my brethren, I still consider them brethren. I still love them, even though they be hating on the stuff I post and the stuff I teach. I love them. And I see even more that there's no division and no separation. And it even says that there's neither Jew nor Gentile, and or Greek. And it's just one of those things where I've seen that even in my revealing the deceptions in the church and in the various religious circles, and the way that they were created and all of these extra things, it does cause division. And so I really just want to focus more on the ways that we can heal this planet, right? And so I will still be doing some shows on the Illuminati and Freemasonry and the way it's tied in with religion and stuff like that. Like, did you know Billy Graham was a Freemason? A lot of people don't know that. And so I did a show on Facebook about it. I was thinking about downloading it and then just uploading it here, which I might still do, but I might just do a whole other show on that. But I'll definitely be doing a show on his satanic ritual abuse and the role that he plays in that, and in this circle of the Illuminati bloodlines and the Disney bloodline, and just some of these various other things, that it does get a little dark, and it's kind of hard to handle when you start to realize these things are actually happening. And so our education system has been put there to um, you know, to shape society. It's indoctrination, family. When I was going through school of ministry, and I went to a brother, pastor of another church, and it was a church in the family of churches that I was being raised up in, right? And think about that, raised up, just like the 33 degrees in Freemasonry, you get raised up in the pastorate. And so there's a lot of correlations and a lot of links. And so, but anyway, you know, I spoke to him about some things, and he said, let's just call it what it is, Joe. It's brainwashing. It's indoctrination. The school of ministry is brainwashing. They're brainwashing you guys. And so I didn't get it, because that dude actually was still linked up and yoked up with that ministry. And so I couldn't understand why, he's telling me these things, and I guess that was my initiation into these truths, right? And I didn't realize it at the time. And so I think it's important to continue to teach that. And so I'm going to continue to teach that on this channel. Definitely going to go into some deeper esoteric and hidden knowledge regarding Kundalini, Kundabuffer, and the ways that there's been these spiritual chains of bondage put on through manipulation and trauma-based mind manipulation techniques. And so I'll probably put some of that more deep stuff on Patreon, but I want to talk more about the healing and the ways that we can change society now. And some of those ways is to be the hands and feet of that Christ consciousness, of Christ himself, of that embodied spirit of God that we've all been given. We all have that spark, and we all have that breath of life that he breathed into us. And so that is our essence. That is our light body. That is the energy that goes beyond even the pineal gland. And that pineal gland is just the seat for the soul. And so, we have to understand that. I really appreciate if people would understand that we can make a difference right now, family. And education is the education system. We started homeschooling a while back, and so that's one of the ways that we change societies. We pull our kids out of these day camps. Really, that's what they are. They're re-education camps, and they're indoctrination camps. And so we send our kids off willingly to these indoctrination camps, and then we try to unindoctrinate them. But then we're indoctrinating them into a religious system that is perpetuated by the very same people that put this education system in place. And so we have to understand the division, but also the connectedness in all of this. And the classrooms are just so full, and we push more and more false information down the throats of our children, of our youth, just so that they can pass these standardized tests, right? Rather than teaching them for the sake of learning. The entire system is built only to pass the standardized test to move to the next level. In fact, we see and we hear parents complaining about how, like, some kids just get passed just so they're not an issue for that teacher or that group of teachers anymore. And they're not getting an education. They just get passed. And everybody gets the reward, and everybody gets a trophy, and everybody gets the diploma, and everybody gets the certificate, and everybody gets the degree, right? And so we have to be careful about who we're entrusting our children with. And unfortunately, rather than true education, when we stuff our classrooms full and we push more information down their throat, they're not getting a proper education. They're just getting the what the government and corporations want to feed them, right? I mean, it's all a monopoly. In order for the government to continue, money is necessary. They work off of that current. That is their current of energy, their currency. Money is a currency. And look at money more as a form of energy, because that's really what you're doing, is you're exchanging your energy for that piece of paper. Your energy, that really, you're a Tesla coil. You are an electromagnetic uh, um, machine that produces a vibratory field that people call their aura, or a toroidal field. And we know this via the Heart Math Institute, that the toroidal field in the heart is 5,000 times stronger than the one in the brain. And so our thoughts and our emotions combined create this reality. And so if we're allowing the corporations and the government to shape our children's minds, then it's all coming back to that energy. We're putting our energy and our resources into brainwashing our children and keeping society where it is. In order for a person to be eligible to become a governing official, they need money, right? That's where the corporations come in and they buy out the governments. Who runs the educational system? The government does. All of the politicians, they choose what's being taught in the schools, what's being allowed to be taught in the schools. Not just that, but they shape the educational system. They shape the curriculum, and they design the curriculum a specific way so that people buy into the lies of these corporations, right? That's where the popular backers for politicians and wealthy corporations, especially pharmaceutical companies, oil companies, weapons industries, so many more, right? Like, we know that the industrial complex, just the military industrial complex, is humongous and is big business. That's what war is about. It's about money. It's about business. And so make no mistake about it, family. We've been lied to on every aspect. And how do we heal it? How do we cure it, right? In turn for their funding, their candidates, they just ask the governing official to pass a legislation that works in their favor. We see it time and time again. No matter how dangerous the laws or the practices are, that's how Monsanto stays in business and continues to produce. Even though they're the world's largest producer of toxic chemicals, they continue to produce the chemicals that we allow on our foods and in our household products. And it's just kind of ridiculous, family. And we have to wake up to these things and say, how do we transition and move away from being controlled by these corporate entities, right? It's like a merry-go-round. All of it is a vicious cycle that just seems to never end, and it just continues to perpetuate, right? The world isn't going to change overnight, but we can change it much faster than you think, family. In order for true change to take place, we need to just wake up to the fact that we're being lied to. That's why I share a lot of the information that I share, and that's why I'm going to continue to share it. It's not fear porn, and it's not perpetuating the system. Those who just want to love and light and ignore everything, it's a very dangerous practice, right? It's been said that it's not evil men that are gonna destroy the world, but the ones who turn a blind eye to the evil deeds being done, right? And don't do anything about it. And so we've got to take charge of our own lives, family. What are you doing for your own life that will help the next man, that will enable you to help the next man, right? Begin educating yourself regarding all facets of life, what it takes to be fully self-sufficient, what our ancestors and forefathers did to survive in the wilderness, man, because it's a wilderness time that's coming upon us. I mean, we see it in society. We see society breaking down. We see these government systems breaking down. We see the religious systems breaking down. And so we have to be prepared for that. And we have to take control of our own life, educating ourselves on what we need to do, what we need to eat, what we can do to improve our situation regarding the medications that we take, our stance on government, and willingness not to even perpetuate that system and participate in that farce. I mean, a poll is literally an opinion. And so when you go to the polling office, when you go to the poll to cast your vote, you're just casting an opinion that they take and it's used to divide the sheep. And how do we manipulate each group? What numbers are in what groups, and what are their cares, what are their concerns, and how can we best target their minds to control their minds and keep them as willing slaves to perpetuate the system and exchange their energy, which can be used to better this whole world, to really improve this whole realm. And believe me when I say, it says in scripture that whatever you bound on earth you bind in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth you loose in heaven. And so what we do here has a ripple effect across so many different dimensions. And so we have to understand that. And once we realize the fact that we can begin correcting this facade that we've been given, we need to step up and take responsibility and do that. And so, family, I'm going to screen share here and share some of the things that I'm excited about that I want to do with my son. And so we're going to just jump over here and talk about some of the immediate things. Okay, so one of the immediate things that I want to start collecting money for right now, and start doing while we're trying to finish up our home, and we'll finish up. This is my in-laws' house, and it's my wife's house now, and we're gonna try and finish up the work that we started doing with it, and sell it and recoup any of the money that we've invested in it, and really any losses that we've taken, and we're going to put it into our own land, and we're going to do some awesome things. And so I want to share about the earth ships, and we're going to look to build some of these homes possibly on our land, and hopefully, I mean, in the big picture, I want to start doing some of these things across the world. I mean, Mike Reynolds, the gentleman that I'm going to share regarding the earth homes, the earth ships, he's already had a huge reach across the world, with a lot of the things that he's done with this biotexture, I believe is what he's calling it, because it's a mix between it's biological architecture. And so first I want to talk about helping the homeless right now. The camping ban has been lifted here in Denver, and so I want to talk about this video that I came across. This Boeing retiree was inventing micro homes and high-speed trikes, and so I had a vision about building some of these before I came across this video, and they weren't exactly like this, because he uses a much lighter material. I was going to use a very thin wood and just reinforce it with a styrofoam insulation, and I still might kind of re-engineer his ideas, but he sells plans for these, and so I want to get people to donate so that I can invest in some of these plans, and my son and I can start building these right away, even while I'm sick, because these are so lightweight that we can build these and we can pop downtown. We already used to do a ministry where we used to go and feed homeless people on the 16th Street Mall and all over Metro Denver, and provide blankets and clothes. And so picking that type of ministry back up, but providing a place for them to actually have a shelter, you know what I'm saying? And now that the camping ban has been lifted, I think that this is a great way to get people to have that mobile camping, just that mobile space where they don't have to set up camp, set up a tent, and have the problem of having garbage build up around, and having other people congregate, or having people come in and steal their stuff. Some of these we can make them locking. And so I'm not going to hold back anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and play this video and share this, and hopefully it resonates with some of you guys, man. Share this video out. Take a break really quick. I'm just going to give you guys 30 seconds. I'm going to take a hit of my medicine, because this is medicine. Properties in cannabis has been found to actually build and strengthen neural networks in the brain. And so I'm going to do a show about that, because that actually has backing, and I have the link for the actual study, which is pages and pages long, that has actual equations that are, I'm not going to lie, they're very hard to understand unless you know trigonometry and biology. It's going to be kind of hard to understand, but I'm going to put a link for that as well. But for this study that proves that that marijuana actually improves and strengthens the neural networks in the brain, and so it actually helps repair cell damage in the brain. And so anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do that and remove myself from this stream while I do that and play part of this video. Hopefully I don't get dinged. I am giving attribution to this guy. Let me get back over here. It's on Kirsten Dirksen. Hopefully you don't ding me, Kirsten. I'm giving attribution. Kirsten Dirksen. It's the title is Boeing Retiree Finds Meaning Inventing Micro Homes and High-Speed Trikes. And so I'm going to talk about building and expanding on this as well. Not just doing these smaller homes, but also doing homes for people with small cars. Micro homes that range anywhere from 80 square feet to 300 square feet. Things that are mobile, things that are self-sufficient, that are solar powered, that really can help somebody get on their feet if they're struggling. And so let's go ahead and play this video. I'm glad if you've been able to stick in, hang through this far. Again, hit like, whether you're watching the replay or catching the live, hit like, and please share the video out as well. And so let's go ahead and start this video.
The Nomad bicycle camper on the end. Made this about a couple of years ago. So the floor is 2 sheets of coroplast screwed down about every 3 inches. So it's kind of like a hammock. And then I use the little bubble wrap stuff here to insulate it. So on this, I've got speakers here. Have a little MP3 player.
Yeah, I mean,
plugs in here.
there's shelving and
That's
cabinets in there, and that is a small, lightweight trailer.
Yeah, just peepholes.
Just enough for somebody to fit in, to sit up and read, to lay down and sleep.
No,
A small cooktop.
Flares up, you bail out.
And I'd make it a little more safe than that small firewall.
Sometimes I'll go crazy on them, and other times I'll just,
But look at that.
Not so crazy.
Somebody could pull it with their bike. We provide a person with a bike and a trailer for less than $1,000. All in.
The axles are right
I
here,
think it's
so
a win-win.
do this. But I wanted room for the stove and a sink. So if I were to do it again, I'd move the wheels up. Probably have the stove outside.
Always room for improvement.
Always room for improvement.
And that's what I'd like to do, is buy some of his plans and improve on them. Because my son's got the mind of an engineer. I've got the mind of an engineer. And we'd be able to create some awesome little property, awesome little
overflow shelters for homeless
areas
folks.
For homeless folks.
Like they're going to go at a place to stay.
Possibly
overnight.
Even looking into buying a small lot and placing several of these on, and employing homeless people to help build some of these to give away to other homeless people.
And it was pretty time consuming.
And so, I mean, I think that it's a wonderful vision.
A lot of people, I think, are struggling what to do with their hands. I think it's an innate part of our nature to want to build things.
From
yeah,
the
modern
creator.
society just wants you to go out and buy their stuff. Buy. I secured a 2x3.
That's how we get away from perpetuating that corporate stronghold.
The coroplast sheets.
Coroplast
In
is
making,
amazing.
I think you get a lot
Super
more.
lightweight. These platforms would be very cheap to make.
OSB end caps. There is some satisfaction in that, I think. This is my first structure with coroplast. So yeah,
this one's pretty cool,
camper,
but I definitely wouldn't be doing something like this because it just.
I spent a year building this one.
I think that it would just be too much.
So yeah, this one has the same.
For what we're looking
here.
to do. I think that
10 years ago,
that first
I had
one
too much
was
time on my hands,
definitely
obviously. So I did this post-apocalyptic
a great option.
goofy thing, Mad Max camper.
Designer of the mini bagel.
I think a lot of people are fascinated with. Mary and I were looking into the building houses. We went down to the courthouse to look at the rules and regs, and huge stack of do's and don'ts, mostly don'ts.
So some of these are amazing.
Got a string underneath.
You put little ventilation.
Let's see if I can find it.
Ventilation right here on the front. Some of these you can make them so that they can break down,
into little houses.
and a person could pack it up,
me, I go
carry it on their backpack if they're going a long distance.
So this was
Pack
made
it up
out
and
of
tie it on the back of their bike if they're going a long
two pallets,
distance.
48 by 40 inch pallets. So it's 40 inches wide, 8 feet long, and uses up to hold 2 sheets.
Excellent. Excellent.
And affordable?
Well, let's see, 2 sheets I was able to get for $30, free for the pallet, and about a $20 sheet of OSB. So
and I would look to source and recycle as many materials as I could, but I'd look at just jumping in and buying a lot of this material new
not
from
enough
Home Depot.
Ventilation, I discovered.
And
this was prototype 1.
So you're just constantly prototyping.
Yeah, here's the latch. You can see the string. So that goes
investing
down here,
a little more than $100 because we'd be looking at insulating it with the foam insulation.
Nobody knows,
and probably doing 2 layers of the coroplast
be able to safeguard
with the insulation in between it.
It's warm in
trying
there.
to put in some kind of a
I want to be
port
able to
or a
manufacture them a
window,
little faster.
even
It was
one
kind of
that
nice that I was
maybe
able to use
is able to be
recycled wood, but it
opened
wasn't
and
too
closed.
much money to buy a few 2x4s and another sheet of OSB. And that way I was
Insulate
able
the
to
ends
make
a
this
little
one
bit better
collapsible.
because it gets very cold in Colorado.
This is it collapsed and delivered to somebody. This is how you put it together. Screw
so
one
how
side
easy
down,
those
finding the
collapse
old
down,
holes, rolling
and
it
we'd be
over,
able to just drop
then
them off,
attaching the panel to
drop
the
the
other
wheels
side.
on them. So like these ones don't
Now, a
have
person
wheels,
could
but
use
some of
piano
those
hinges
trailers that he was pulling
secure
behind
the
his
2 side
bike,
walls.
I would be
handy.
looking at
But
doing
here,
some of that
being a
with
prototype, I just did it this way.
what he did here.
Sorry, it's a mess
So
in there,
this
but
one here as well, it's
it's
got
double insulated. It has
shelving.
2 sheets. So
It's
I
got a
wanted a
small
little
place for
desk,
some of the
place to
person's
put their
belongings.
stuff, shoes, the backpack,
A
flowers,
light, a lamp,
and just a cozy place to be. You got your light.
protection
Then here
from
you
the
have
elements.
a smoke and carbon monoxide detector. I made the fence a little
Ventilation,
bigger on
lights,
this. This guy right here,
everything
it's
that
about
you
a
need.
4
You
by
throw a
8.
small solar panel on there with a small motorcycle battery, and you've got a place that a person could plug in their devices and look for work. Do some research on how they can better their own lives.
Condensation either.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that I'd also be looking at is not just dropping these to people, but anybody that I give one of these things to. So we're just gonna.
You are beautiful.
Looking at educating anyone that we gave one of these things to, and how to improve their life and how to get out of the situation that they're in. And how to be self-sufficient.
Here, but at least I'm dry.
Hey, Chloe, glad you could jump in.
Last night, it was like sleeping with my head inside of a drum. Condensation still in here, not too bad.
See, so we'd be doing a little bit something about
sleeping bags dry.
Absorption for condensation.
Didn't have to crack the door open, so I think I got the ventilation good. Felt like there was good airflow going. That's still about 10 degrees warmer in
providing
here
a very good insulated sleeping bag and a couple of items that would help
to colder temperatures.
These people be.
And then here's just kind of a
anybody.
Place to sit
I mean, like I said,
I had
was
a little
homeless for
stove
a time,
here, and
so,
doesn't have to be for homeless. You can camp here and
put a
cook.
propane, a small propane can.
Everything.
Very, very, very
you'll
easy
see the
for
arcs
a person to remain self-sufficient with some of these things.
So there's no framing needed in these.
We'll go ahead and stop it there. Escape. Come out of there. And so these are some of the things that I want to start with immediately to help our homeless problem here in Colorado. And I know that there's a tremendous homeless problem, not just here in Denver, in the Denver metro area, but throughout the Front Range and even in the San Luis Valley. I know that there's issues down there, and there's an abundance of cheap land down there, family. I've looked on Zillow all over the country, and there's cheap land in Kentucky, there's cheap land in Arizona, really cheap land in Arizona, in the Four Corners areas where I plan on making our home base. And so, because there is such cheap land in Garcia, Colorado, San Luis, the San Luis Valley, western New Mexico, northeastern Arizona, just that whole Four Corners area, there's a lot of cheap land. There again, I see this growing beyond just my home base. Like my home base, I want to get my family, you know, I mean, I'm this is a vision that I'm wanting to put into play immediately, and so we're selling everything that's not bolted down, you know, is just material items that we've accumulated over our almost 20 years of being married, um, and so we are gonna invest in this future for our family and for other people. And we'll start off by investing in some land for ourselves, for my daughter, and eventually my son, giving him a piece of our land, and doing some of these earthships. And so this is the next video I want to play, is the earthships. How do we get away from depending on this corporate system, right? Well, we become self-sufficient, and so we help our fellow man, right? We do unto others as we would want to be done unto us. And if I was when I was sleeping on the streets, I just wanted that safe, um, warm shelter, even if it was the size of a park bench. I mean, I used to find park benches to sleep under, or behind dumpsters, with the lid over, up against the brick wall. That way, you had some kind of a overhang or a shelter, and so you'd find areas where you could feel secure and feel safe to just catch a couple of hours of shut eye. And so, with something like this, you know, it wouldn't perpetuate laziness, but I think that it would give somebody a good, decent place to stay warm and to have their own belongings that they could even pack up and take with them to work. If you get a job, take that thing to work and put it in the back room. It's small enough. You put it in the back office, or in the break room or something where a person would park their bike. You know, put it back in the storeroom or wherever, whatever the options are, and you've got a chance to get somebody off of the streets. And again, I think that one of my immediate responses, or solutions, so to speak, to having somebody get one of these and just not being responsible with it, is that would be one of the conditions for giving one of these, is you know, you can help others in your position by building these things, and so and get paid for it. And so if we get enough of a cash flow and enough donations coming in, I'd love to get people that would be monthly donators, monthly contributors to this vision, that would help. That way people could get some kind of a benefit off of building and helping their fellow man, and they're learning a skill, right? And so those are all great things. But for my family, I'm touching on the fact that we want to become self-sufficient, and this video I want to play really shows how we can become self-sufficient. And so one of the things that I see happening is not just doing this for our own property, but having people that want to pull their money together and invest in a piece of land, that if I can get enough funding to get the heavy equipment and the necessary tools, that we can get a co-op of people that want to go off grid and be self-sufficient and grow their own food and harvest their own livestock, if they want to do milk or cheese or eggs or anything like that. There's solutions for that and ways that we can do that, collecting rainwater, and or even being by a water source, and purifying your own water. Just so many solutions and so many things. And so I see this expanding eventually into just not just a small get out and escape the corporate world and be out in a cave by yourself, but even building a strong community of people across the world, all over the nation, that are just um, working towards unity, that we all have in common, and that's that common unity, and a community of common unity, and and again, loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And so teaching these skills to one another, and so that's part of it, is buying this piece of land, getting people out here that either are willing to, that have invested, have their resources in this debt, or whatever in the world, exchange it all. I mean, you want to, if this is your vision as well and you want to get off grid, then we have ways that we can teach you how to do that. And so I've seen Mike Reynolds start these communities, and I know some of these are for profit and some of them are not. And I know that some of these earthships, if they're really extravagant, cost a lot of money, but there's ways to build these very efficiently. And again, just like with um, the homeless shelters, I would take and I've already modified some of these things, that in ways that some of these things could be built above ground without being under a berm, and be just as effective and efficient. And I'll talk more about that in detail when we start actually getting people together that are interested in this, in the ways that I want to build these self-sufficient, planet-friendly, eco-friendly homes. And but I mean, his original designs are excellent, and what he's built on is amazing. And I agree with what this gentleman says at the end, that we need a billion of these immediately. And so I want to help in that vision. And with my construction background, I've been in construction all my life, and it's what I do. And so now I fully understand and understand. I fully understand that calling that the Creator has put on me to help this world and help this community, and help starting with community. And so I want to start with the homeless shelters, but eventually move into producing food for the community. The amount of food that my family and I can grow ourselves would help provide, and we'd fund some of that and growth through selling to farmers market, or local shops, local grocers, local restaurants. But then we'd have such an abundance. I plan on having such an abundance, and the Creator's shown me with my wife's education on some of these micro farms, the ways that we can grow. I think in one of these urban micro farms, it's like 6 tons of food a year, and in just one of these small micro farms. And so if you have 1 acre of land, you can grow an amazing amount of food. I mean, tons and tons of food that, we'll sell some of it, and a lot of it we'll be giving away. We'll be giving away and providing to the community. And so that's what I've seen. That's the vision that I've been given. Also canning it and teaching people how to can and how to store up and how to be responsible, and just really have that reserve for if shit ever does hit the fan. If you ever need to be self-sufficient, then you want to be able to be self-sufficient and not have to rely on run into the store for this orange juice, or run into the store for this, or run into the store for that, or I need to call this guy to come do this for my house. Like, no, you gotta, family, we have to teach each other and grow and learn, and use each other's strong points to improve on this whole uh, this place that we've gotten ourselves into, that we've consented to. How do we make it better? This is how. And so let me play this video for um, the earth ships, and then I want to share some things about the gardening and some of the geothermal greenhouse options that we're going to build on and improve. Some of these ideas and concepts that people have already worked to I mean, they've got it down to a science and worked to near perfection. But I'm going to play this video real quick regarding the Earth ships. And hopefully I don't get pinged. This is Earthship Biotecture. And I am giving full attribution to Earthship Biotecture. And this brilliant gentleman. Start it over because I don't know when I was scrolling. I don't know what you missed and what you didn't miss. And I might have to stop this a couple of minutes in. It's only 5 minutes long, but I might have to break it in half just so I don't get dinged on a copyright issue. But again, I give full attribution to the channel and to Mike Reynolds and his wonderful, wonderful work that he's done. Over 40 years in the field. He's an amazing architect and just really a godsend. He's, I believe, just one who's had that spirit, that revelation of how to help our fellow man. There's so many design options for these things. You know what? I did not add this. You guys are watching me watch this video. And so I am going to rewind it, escape. I apologize, family. Like I said, sometimes I get caught up and forget about this technology. And so let me go here, go back here, and play. These things are amazing. You can grow fruit, you can grow vegetables in these greenhouse atriums. Steady temperature, very, very little energy needs to be used to heat or cool these homes. Amazing. They're literally part of the environment. They're one with Mother Earth. They're one with Mother Nature. They're one with the earth. They become part of the environment, a living organism. These homes, when you build the trees and the house, the greenhouse inside the home.
This way, and it works, and it's very secure. You've got your water, you've got your shelter, you've got your energy, you've got your food, you've got heating and cooling. It is working.
And so this is how I see it. He's already been doing this all over the world. And I just want to continue on in that vision of his and just improve on it any way that I can. or not even improve on it, because I don't know that I think he's got it down to a science. And so what they've built, I don't know that there's really much that you can do to improve on it, but I just want to build on it, you know.
He's a trained architect who came to Taos to avoid the draft during the Vietnam War. He calls himself a biotech now, and after 40 years of building Earthships, who's to argue?
I'm getting pretty good at doing it, and what has happened is the world has gone down to the point where it really, really needs this. I just happen to be here with this, and so yeah, right now I'm not a magic puzzle.
And that's what I'm talking about, family. And this is why I'm just going to pause it and just talk about that a little bit. This is where I'm in agreement with that. You know, this is where one of the things that are needed. And I'll share again on the greenhouses. I'm not sure if they show the interior of these, but I'll play a little bit of this other video. And I believe that this is also Kirsten Dirksen. So again, full attribution. Hopefully I don't get dinged for this. She has some amazing videos, and we're not going to play this whole thing, but I just want to show some of this video and show some of the options that are out there for greenhouses and for just the many ways that we can provide for for humanity, man. There's no reason that we should have the issue that we have with starvation, with people starving all over the world. There's no reason. And we can start right now with people that are going hungry in our communities, and in the communities that are near to us, and even eventually with the right funding and the right backing, you know, in teaching other people how to do this, and just expanding and growing with this idea. There's just so many ways that this can go and spread, and just change the world that we live in. And so I want to be a spark for that. And I've seen people already beginning this kind of work again. Martin Kenny has got him, I believe it's the Pineal Academy, and they've got some land in Portugal where they're starting this, and the Understanding crew, I believe Sevan Bomar is in Costa Rica. And so this is already happening around the world where, and I don't know that they're necessarily doing, you know, biotecture or Earthships or anything like that, but I know that they are building on a plan of being self-sustaining and self-sufficient, and providing and teaching people. And so that's another thing that I'm big on, is teaching people. And so I want to teach people, continue teaching people what I've been teaching them. All of this spooky stuff is not as spooky as it's been made to be. And there's ways to heal ourselves, and ways to heal this planet, ways to heal this society, and the family that we all are, the huge family that we all are, each human being, get away from the division. And so let's check this out.
Fahrenheit. It'll get down to it. Every year we'll have days that are 20. This is probably the worst place that you could ever build this. In the winter, we'll get real high winds, lots of dry cold. I think it averages daytime around 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll get down to it every year.
So
we'll have days
geothermal
that are 25
degrees
below zero or lower.
Wow, it looks like you even have oranges.
Yeah, those are Eureka lemons. These are Valencia oranges. They're the
all different
orange.
Types of citrus.
This one, it's a new type of
below freezing
mandarin
weather.
That doesn't normally grow in Nebraska.
growing year
Citrus
round.
doesn't normally grow in Nebraska.
No, no, nowhere near. The closest ones would be probably 800 miles in Texas or somewhere.
And not a problem.
No, no. In fact, they thrive here. We can probably grow the best citrus anywhere in the world at this latitude for size and quality. These are 12-month greenhouses. And we're wasting our sunshine in Nebraska during the winter. We're not growing. And we're just wasting all of this underground heat. This is one of the tubes coming out of the ground, 6-inch tubes that go down 8 foot deep and out and clear out into the yard. See where that asparagus is back there? It goes out about 90 foot back there and then comes around and goes in. There's 7 of them come up on the south side here. We're just using the underground heat.
Underground, it stays a certain temperature.
It's stable at 52 degrees here.
See, that's
so
amazing.
if you have a stable temperature, you can use that both in winter and summer.
Yeah.
To grow through the winter and through the summer.
And this blower here, this sets over 7 tubes, 6-inch tubes that go down 8 foot deep. And then when the blower goes on, it just recirculates that air continually and picks up that ground heat.
So the energy you're using is just to circulate the ground.
Yeah, it just circulates the air underground. It only runs when it's 50 degrees or lower. It draws 7 1/3 amps is all. And that heats the entire place during the winter. But just about everything we put in grows real well. These
so
are
just about
here,
everything they put in grows real well.
This first crop, then in the middle of the summer, they'll put out another crop that's way heavier.
So you're getting harvest year round.
And
you're able to harvest golden things year round.
We've got, I think, 9 different varieties of grapes. They're all southern grapes. Northern grapes, they'll grow in here, but they won't fruit. These are Thompson seedless. We're having to learn how to grow grapes because it doesn't work the same here as it does outdoors.
Regardless of what
all you did in order to have this planting was to take advantage of the sun and to go a little bit deeper into the ground and to combine the two things together.
Yeah. Everything
yes,
in the
and
design
I've been studying
together.
These things for a while, Debbie Bell. My wife has been studying these things for a while. Even my son is aware of these things. And he's 14, and again, he's just a genius at some of the herbs and stuff that we're going to be planting and the benefits that they have for our health and just building immunity and fighting any kind of viruses or disease that we might face. So,
glazing on the north.
This is going to have a great benefit for people collectively.
And above.
And that's the vision I have. And,
it's polycarbonate.
I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we'll be growing.
This is twin wall. It has a little insulation value, not very much. But in the back wall, this is the only one that has this open foam.
And so
all the rest of them have.
That's probably far enough in. I think we can take a look at one of these ones, this other one that he has built. He's just improved on the design here.
It's down to 48, 49. Some places, like the one up at Blackhawk.
So we're going to have to deal with an ad, family. I apologize about that. I'll skip it in 3, 2, 1.
You are beautiful.
It's 62 because they're next to some warm springs.
So if you have a stable temperature, you can use that both in winter and summer.
Yeah. We could use it for cooling now. That's what it's actually doing. I'll show you what it.
And so I plan again on having some of these.
Okay, it's 125
and just building
degrees.
On
it's coming out at 87
what
degrees.
They've.
So it's really circulating. See where that white box is at the other end. That's where all the 17
if there's any way to
improve
it, improving anything that can be improved on, but I think that they've got it down to a science.
We're trying to figure out whether it works better
determining
to push,
the size
like this
of what we would need. not
pull
just on
air
our own
like this
property,
one
but on
does.
any properties that we'd
So
be
when we
helping
find that out,
people build their
we'll
own
use
homes on,
whichever
and
is the
teaching
most
people how to do
efficient.
their own
You've got two
growing. And so
thermostats. One goes
investing in
on
heirloom
when it hits
seeds
80
is a
degrees,
huge
it'll go
desire
on for the cooling.
for us.
When it drops
And
to
one of the
50
things that we'd
degrees,
be doing
it'll
immediately
be
with
for
some of
the
the
warming in the
donations
winter.
is we'd be investing in seeds.
So you've got a
And
30
so
degree temperature range
this is
in
what
there where there's
Project
no
H.E.L.P.
fans
is
on
about.
at all.
I want
So
to teach
you're not
people how to
using
do
any
this for
energy during
themselves,
that time in the winter.
and how to be
I was a straight
self-sufficient,
D
and how to
student,
prepare
but the only
if
class
that there would
that I
never be a
really
food
liked was
shortage,
physics,
not
and a
for
lot of
them or
this
for
is
their
nothing but
neighbor.
high school physics. That's a model of the new type. See, our blower is at this end. Then the tubes come out
And
here,
so
and
he's
they go
talking a lot of the
anywhere outside
technology behind the
230 foot,
geothermal
and then
homes.
they come
I
up
don't
down
think we
in
need to
there.
watch
And
through all that. I just wanted to show that he'd improved on it, and there's different levels here that you can plant up front here. And even the way that these are sloped, one of the things that I want to build on is the way that the Earthship homes have the atriums and the gardens up front. And maybe we can search for another one of those videos and see if there is any of these homes that show how a lot of them have a slant on the front, and you build onto your atrium of your home, you can have your own garden inside the home.
Socks or whatever.
And so
We were saying before.
let's see. Let's fast forward up here a little bit.
Oh, cool. Good boy. That's sweet. Working in the kitchen, putting the bed.
So you see
Starting in
here.
the bathroom. Sure. But the finishing touches, that must have been the academy to go right after ours. Yeah.
Have you been doing
Uh-huh. Okay. Alright, close this door. Awesome. So, a lot more cleaner than I remember.
But you see the slanted windows
let me
there,
see
and there is.
it's good to go.
Let's see.
Yeah, you guys
Just
Alright,
tell
so
us
I
to
don't
move
think
out of the
this
way.
is the
That's
one
okay.
that I was
Don't worry
thinking
about
of. But there's one who, when they interview the owners, they're talking about how they just walk up and they pick their fruit right off of the front. I didn't have that one planned on. I didn't plan on even sharing that one, and so it's one that my wife and I watched a while back when we were researching some of these things, and so. But yeah, I mean, you just imagine what some of these Earthships can be made into, and there is some pretty amazing ones that are just outrageous. And they have, let me see. One has a chicken coop that's made just like the Earthship. The chickens have their own Earthship. And so I don't know if I can find that one. This one right here has some pretty amazing.
Monday.com is the platform to manage your entire marketing team. From content creation and strategic planning to client.
So this one takes a while to get into the video. And this one, he mentions it several times that it would cost a lot of money to build this one, but I think that is with using their builders and
so this is more,
it is
not practical. This is
definitely
more of
a
if you have
type
hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe $1 million to blow, and you want to do something really crazy and extravagant. This is what
definitely wouldn't cost $1 million to build this. Maybe through their builders, but I could build this for a lot less than $1 million.
This is I'm so excited.
It is a little overkill, but you see the way that these.
This is pretty cool. This greenhouse.
The roof is slanted up here, and it has all the huge windows in here. You'll see inside in a minute. The amount of vegetation that you could grow in there. It doesn't have to be just foliage and decorative trees. It can be, I think that
we used to have turtles.
Vegetation is beautiful.
We had a land tortoise that we are pretty sure was just taken from the
for an
greenhouse
amazing entryway in your
Really?
home to again be able to walk up and pick a mango or to pick an orange off of the tree in your atrium. I think would be amazing.
Is this like a lime mix with
a
aggregate or
beautiful
concrete
life
or?
to just walk
This
up
is concrete.
and pick some vegetation out of your
So there
atrium
must be planning to do some sort of planter bed
in
or
front of your
something
home.
like that, which would be
And
pretty
so
interesting.
that's
This
fast
building,
forward.
they
I
say,
wanna
is
show
like,
the
it's
chicken
always,
coop
it's
a little
all.
bit. It's pretty cool. Little earthship for the chickens.
We call it the chicken Hilton. Yeah, especially if you can somehow kind of like pry this back and look inside, you can see the.
So this guy's gonna walk around the side and show that you can build these walls, bottle walls, can walls, with cob or adobe or concrete, stucco, adobe and stucco, concrete and stucco. I plan on using concrete, and again, I've got my own system that I've cooked up in my mind on how we can build some of these things very cheap and very efficiently, and make them essentially as sturdy as shelters, bomb shelters. And so that it would need to be take a direct hit in order to be taken down. And so it'd be very efficient and very safe as well.
You okay with that?
Yeah,
Very
that's
secure.
fine. They're really good at escaping the.
And so the little
So
chicken
happy,
coop,
though.
and we'll see.
They can escape the wall though. That's
This entryway is pretty amazing. I think this is where we're at. Oh no.
much more buried. That they really.
This is cool.
It should have a chicken arm.
Yeah, and they have their own airship. It's made out of time. Yeah, that's fine.
Backed it
They're
up
really
too far.
escape up to the top here. We all.
Here's where they walk in.
And stuff like that.
And so you just imagine growing a bunch of fruit. All right, I think we're gonna have to skip a
Students in
commercial here.
America are experiencing
And
something
this is
people
one that
in
we
war
can't skip
experience. We're not
right
seeking.
now. So imagine walking into this
This is like an
atrium in
oasis.
your house and
In the
having
desert, exactly.
fruit, mangoes,
This is cool.
bananas, oranges,
So
apple
this, you
trees,
can actually hang out out here.
Oh,
Table
I
and
would-
chairs.
I'd be here
all
all
kinds
day.
of citrus.
How come this
So different
greenhouse
types
isn't
of
anywhere
citrus.
near as hot as the global model
Having
we
a
were in? The way
pond
we,
that has
I believe it's
fish
because of the
that
big open space.
actually
It
fertilize
allows the hot air to really,
the vegetation
really
that you're
escape up
growing
to
in
the
there.
top
It
here.
would be
We
amazing,
also
right?
have way more tree cover.
okay.
And
Also, a big
this one
thing I'm
has
pretty
like
sure
this
is the
gazebo
water.
cover.
Okay.
You know, almost like an
And,
evaporative
but
cooling
again, this,
system or something like that. The water definitely helps keep the temperatures nice and comfortable in here.
Yeah, because the small one was kind of muggy. This one, I mean, we could have a coffee, we could sit have a beer.
Right, exactly. And
you see, so there's solutions to any problems that you might run into with humidity.
Much more comfortable.
72
The humidity is
degrees,
different, I think.
again,
yeah.
Also,
with
In the summertime, we keep these
balanced
open and it keeps
humidity.
the building, the greenhouse pretty
And
vented.
so,
In the wintertime, this place
I
is
mean,
dripping.
these things
and so
are
it just has one massive
pretty
vent at the top there.
Yeah, exactly.
and so you can
that's
do
pretty
more
much open all the
research
time.
on those family, but those again are just some of the things that I have a vision for, and these building on some of these for food and provision, not just for yourself, not just for your family, not just for myself, not just for my family, anybody who would want to build on this vision or this dream for themselves, and would want to get off grid and provide for themselves, but also for their community and for their fellow man. And again, in the meantime, you could make money or supplement income by selling these at farmers market, at local restaurants, wherever you're at, and local farmers markets and local small grocers, mom and pop grocers. you can help them stay in business by providing affordable or organic local fruit and vegetation. And so some of these are pretty amazing as well. In fact, let me shrink this down and go over here and just click on it so we can zoom in on it and show some of these small cubes. My wife was telling me that you can grow like up to 6 tons of food, and they're 600 square feet. And so these things are amazing. Let's shrink that one down and go to the next one. And so you see, you can grow via hydroponics, stacked hydroponics on these little round posts. You grow all different types of fruits, foods, again, herbs, and I mean, just so many different things, vine fruits and vegetables, just so many different things that you can grow in these greenhouses, and a tremendous amount of fruit and vegetables that you can provide, not just, again, for yourself. You can can it, you can store up a tremendous amount and just have your stuff available. And look, there's even ways that you could put up balconies in here, and the one that we showed before had a seating area in here. Or you can maximize the space and just grow throughout the entire greenhouse. And the only way that I would alter this is I would drop this 2/3 of this first level below ground. That way you could close it up wherever it's open. You can have sliding walls that close up during the winter, and you can grow year round in these things as well. And so, again, just many things that my wife has shown me over the years that my mind is just thought about, and my wife and I have talked about. And so that is really the vision of Project H.E.L.P is starting immediate with the shelters, and with some of the things that we're going to grow. It's not just fruits and vegetables, but I plan on growing and doing what my brother Rick does. Is something that God showed me a vision to do before I even met Rick. Just a couple of months before I met Rick, I was talking to my wife the healing benefits that we've known about and that we've talked about in cannabis, and really just the experience that we had with her father passing with cancer was one of those things that just really drove in my mind that, this really could have been beneficial. And I don't want anybody else to have one of those what ifs, or, we should have, or could have, or any of those type of scenarios. And I see that even as one of those divine appointments where Greg was a patriarch and laid a very solid foundation. And so, and he stated himself that he was ready to go and meet his creator. And so that was his desire. And so he, in that, I think, was a birthing of just the healing effects of what these plants and medicines and natural healing, holistic healing can benefit people, how it can benefit people. And then having my own run-in with it, with a potentially life-threatening illness, really opened my eyes to the fact that if I can do what my brother Rick does, hopefully I'll have him back on the show very soon, and just share with what he does, and help him grow with what he does. But he grows cannabis, and he makes full extract cannabis oil, and he provides it to people that are sick, people with terminal illnesses, and he's helping people. People are benefiting from this, and I personally have benefited from it. A sister, Jeannie Appleweed, she goes by Jeannie Appleweed on Facebook, and she provided some of this cannabis oil as well, some Rick Simpson oil, and I've been dosing those two out, and I know that it had a great deal to do with the healing that I'm experiencing right now. And so that's part of the vision of Project H.E.L.P as well, is eventually, somewhat immediately, I want to start growing. But until I grow, I've met two people that have cancer that I want to get some of this fecal to this full extract cannabis oil to. It's very, very potent, but very, it's not an oil that just blasts you and gets you high. You can still function. But it's an oil that is very potent in the way that it acts, and the way that it attacks these cells that can really just cause a lot of havoc in our body, and just help improve our immune system as well. When we're able to eat the greens, eat the leaves, juice with them, eat the buds like salad, ingest it, and not just process it, but ingest it raw like that. It has so many benefits, and it provides protein and so many other things that our bodies need, that it's essential. I mean, it's a superfood. It really is. And so I want to grow that, and again, in the ways that my brother is, organically, naturally. And there's other people, I can't remember, James and Sarah, I believe, on Facebook. I can't remember their last name, but these people they make edibles and can butter and all kinds of different things, and provide it to people that are sick and dying, literally. And they're very, very successful. And of course, some people, they pass away. And so I want to touch on some of the aspects of the importance in our thought and our emotion, our encouragement, our gratitude, and our love and our forgiveness, and the importance that plays in healing as well. Because I know when I am in a place of just going through it, man, I can feel the toxins in my body building, literally. And God just reminds me of all the things that I've learned from scripture and outside of religion and scripture as well, regarding worry and how detrimental it can be. And so having a heart of gratitude, how it can rewire our minds, and our minds literally alter or have an effect on the neurological system, and just the ability for those stem cells to regenerate, and for antibodies to be strengthened and produced, and just all of the great chemicals that benefit our body health wise can just be definitely helped along, not just by what we eat and how we're living, but by our reduced stress levels and our state of mind. And so be of good cheer, family, and just be steeped in hope that, we've been given the tools that it's going to take to turn these things around, and also to be prepared for anything that might come. I mean, this awakening, and the fact that a lot of these things that we've experienced in this reality are based on lies, and that a small group of people with very dark energy sources behind them, powering them, moving them, motivating them, have kept humanity under control and in bondage That's the dark side of these things, but there is a light, and that light is the light of the world, and that light of the world is the anointing of Christ in each and every one of us. And so we have an ability to change our reality now, with our thought, our emotion, and put it in action. And so I speak these things forth as well, and I just pray that and affirm. I don't pray, I affirm that there's many of you that this will resonate, and that this will have a wonderful response, and that it'll even go viral. And so, family, share this out if it resonates with you, and if this is something that you can get on board with and that you can support. Again, I touched on a video on Facebook how it very, very, 6 degrees of separation. There's people that have great resources that can contribute to this. It doesn't just have to be financial resources, but those are definitely, in the world and the realm we live in, a necessity right now to springboard these things and get the ball rolling, so to speak. And I'm willing to put in my energy, time, and resources as well to these things. This is a vision that I'm willing to put all of my energy towards, because I believe that that's what the Creator has me here for, and that's my will, my duty, and that's His will and my will. I want to be in His will, and so, family, again, give it a thumbs up, share the video, encourage other people to support and donate. And if you feel led to be a monthly one who gives a monthly contribution, please let me know. Again, I'll be setting up a Patreon where I'll be going into some of the more deeper aspects and connecting dots, and how Scripture correlates with some of the deeper esoteric teachings, how the sphenoid bone is actually in the Scriptures, the Ark of the Covenant is it's allegorical for the sphenoid bone, and the Holy Grail for the skull, or Golgotha, the place of the skull. And a lot of these things that Christ taught pointed to these things that have been demonized and that are literally esoteric, just means hidden. And so that have been hidden by very powerful bloodlines to control and manipulate and create this free slave system, where you let the slaves manage themselves. And it's a willing, consensual thing, and I don't want to consent to it anymore. And so I'm going to look to be independent and get off grid, and find the best place to do that for myself and my family, and prepare for anything that might come, and not have to rely on government or any religious faction, because I've also found, being raised up in the pastorate and coming through that type of system, that will also leave you high and dry. The people that I've met through the church are wonderful and loving hearts and loving people. And I even believe that many of the leaders and pastors that I've met and that I've served alongside fully believe everything that they're teaching, and have such conviction and a heart for God that anything that is meant for evil on any level, whether it's through one that might be deceived, or one knowingly doing these things and perpetuating these things, the Creator is going to use for good. And I've seen visions of that. People are going to come to these realizations, and they're just going to lay down their arms, and they're going to say, oh my God, what did we do? What have we done? What have we allowed? And it might be a bumpy ride to get to that point. And there might even be some very, very crazy things that manifest in this reality. And one of the shows that I'll be doing soon is how scientists can create holograms that you can feel, touch, and smell and taste. And so things that are very real that fool the perceptions. And so we have to move beyond the five senses and go to them sixth, seventh, however many other senses and abilities that we have that I believe are limitless, and that I know are limitless. And so we got to break through the limits that have been placed on us through the indoctrination system of the societies that we've been raised up in, and the religious systems that we've been raised up in, and the lies that we've been raised up in, and move beyond that, and know in our hearts, be led by our hearts, and know in our heart how to help our fellow human beings, how to love our neighbor as ourselves. And so that's what this is about, family. That's what Project Love is about. And so I see we had a few people consistently here, not very much activity in the chat, but Debbie Bell, thank you. And yes, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for giving me your attention and for sharing in this web of time with me, and receiving this information that I've had to share. I encourage you again, if you haven't subscribed, if you're just coming across this video, subscribe, go back, watch some of the older content. Some of it is, I am going to be revisiting some of it, and filtering through and seeing what is beneficial, and whatever's not is going to be removed. And so there is some things on there regarding the religious system and the religious deceptions, and I might be uploading some older content from Facebook that touches on the fact that Billy Graham was a Freemason, and some of the higher ups in some of the religious systems, how they're involved in this whole charade, this whole theatrical play, man. I mean, that's really what it is. The world is a stage, and they have everybody fooled. And so if you think you've seen things in Hollywood, that's really what politics is, a stage. And there's a lot of characters that are in play right now that have very, very real implications in our reality and in this world today. And so these are some things that we can do to change that. Is first we become aware, we spread that awareness in love, and that's sometimes a very hard thing to do when you come to the realization that some of these things are lies, and how deep you've bought into the lie as well. My family and I dedicated ourselves to this religious system and church, and again, I know that God used our efforts and our service, and that He uses anything and everything, regardless of the motive, for good, and for to teach His children. And so I don't have any regrets, especially knowing what I know now. I know that it was all for a purpose, and that purpose is to share this information and the revelations that I not only I've been given, but many others sharing, and to see that you guys all connect the dots, and that it does resonate with you. And so again, if you're just coming across this, it's not by chance, especially if you've made it to this point, or you've gotten to this point. Know that it's for a reason, it's for a purpose, and really just stew on it, and ask yourself what you can do to be part of this change that the creators just aroused in many people, and that He's going to provide for. And so do you want to be a part of that? And again, Jamie, Debbie Bell, Paulo, John Keene stopped in, Becky Perry, my lovely wife, Stephanie, Chloe, and so thank you for listening, Debbie. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the encouragements, and just want to keep you guys encouraged as well. That again, I've said it several times. I want to make daily videos, and I do believe that that's where this is leading. But when God wants me to share in a vision that is very important and very in depth, I want to share. If it takes 2 hours, then I want to take that 2 hours and just share my heart, and again, connect on not just this is a vision that I want to sell off, but this is a vision that I know people will be led to be a part of. And it is definitely going to change the world, one person, one family, and one community at a time. And again, I've already seen it happening. And so, family, if you feel led to share in that, then let's do this. And again, I'll be putting links up in this video and in future videos to the various outlets that platforms that I'll be broadcasting from. I am going to be submitting to iTunes to get a iPod, Apple Podcast platform set up. Also with I believe it's called the Live and Twitch and a few other platforms. Patreon will definitely be one of them, and so that'll give you an option to be a monthly contributor to the work that I share in the videos, the knowledge that I share, because again, it doesn't come free. I expend a great deal of energy, and my wife knows this. My family knows this, into the research that I do, and I'm a very thorough person with my research, and I encourage you folks to research the things I talk about as well, and allow the Spirit of God in you to give that force of God in you, to give you discernment and being able to wade through this information. And so again, even the knowledge changes the collective by building new neural pathways in our brains, and it changes us on a cellular level, and it changes our DNA as well. Something that's proven, and our DNA is information storage, and it's all encoded, and so it activates various parts of what we consider dormant DNA, and so we can change the collective by sharing this information as well. And the energy that I put into not only searching out this information, discerning through this information, but sharing this information. If you feel led to just share and contribute in that, and be a part of that, because that energy of currency, the current that you'd be providing to help provide for that, and for that to be possible, would also come back to you in ways that would amaze you. Really, it really would. And so invest in the energy that you get, and any information and knowledge that you get, then have some kind of an equal energy exchange for that. And I encourage that, and I believe in that, and I try to give that as well. And so that's why I want to share in what Rick is doing. And so look for a live show where I have Rick on. His name is Freedom Grower. Go to his channel and join him on any platform that he broadcasts from, because he just shares and really just information in this quantum age that is very, very he's a goof too as well. He does some pretty funny skits, and he plays an amazing blues guitar, an amazing blues solo. And so yes, he's an amazing blues guitarist, and not just blues guitarist, but he's just he plays amazing. And so Robert Francis, it's always a blessing and wonderful to see you comment in the chat. And so I love you, brother. I just want to share in that that there is a connection, and I just love what you've been for my family, and the energy that you've exchanged, not just in the ways that you've helped us practically, but in the love that you send, and that energy that you send, that positive energy and vibrational frequency. And so family, I want to say that for each and every one of you as well. Those of you that send your prayers and your love and are sending that energy, just know that we are discerning it, and that we do know that there are people that are hating on it. And in fact, I seen a pastor, I won't mention his name, but a pastor left one of those little angry emoji faces on my post where I was talking about just some light information on Facebook regarding this video, and what I was going to go into detail about with Project Hope. So essentially, it was a promotional video, a half-hour video on Facebook, and a pastor friend of mine that I consider a brother that I love dearly, and I love his family dearly, left an angry little emoji, and I see he deleted it today, but I did get a screenshot, but I'm not going to expose him, man. I want you to know that I love everybody, and even those that are hating, I discern that energy, and I know that that people are trying to have an effect on my family and on this vision that God's given us, and that there are forces in this realm that are coming against us in various ways. And so, family, continue to send that good energy and that loving, healing vibrational frequencies. We receive them, and we do put up those spiritual guards and close those doors and block out any of that negativity, and understand that, family, if you ever take part in anything like that, that you do receive that back in so many ways that come back tenfold. And so just know that, and always be in love, be in a place of love, be in a place of forgiveness. Don't be in a place of having a heart of vengeance, or really just having a desire to wish anybody evil, or even be in a place of anger, because that anger is an emotion, and that is an energy that puts us in motion, into um, places and paths that we don't want to walk, places that we don't want to be in, paths that we don't want to walk down. And so remember to always remain calm, remain and I speak this for myself as well, as a reminder to remain in that place of love, in that place of peace, and in that place of remembering that each and every one of us have that spark of the Creator, that sovereignty, and that enormity of God in each and every one of us. And we each carry that beauty of the Creator as well. And so let's help bring that out in people by being the light in this dark world, and moving forward in projects like this and supporting things like this. Again, a very small amount of people pulling together $10, $100, $1,000 each can make this plan, can make this vision come together extremely fast. And so if this vision resonates with you, share it, please, and encourage other people to just contribute to this, because this is for everybody. This isn't Project Help is to help everybody, everyone love people, and everyone love this planet. And so let's help each other love people and love this planet, family. And on that note, 2 hours and 10 minutes in, I love you, family, and I thank you for catching this live. And if you were, again, catching this on a replay, my emails, I believe I posted my emails. If not, it's joe.cisneros. Let me see if I've got a banner with the email. I don't. It is joe.cisneros@yahoo.com, or walkinwisdom17@gmail.com. And so let me see if I can get that up really quick. Let's see if we can get that banner up and display that. And so again, you guys can contact me if you want to be a part of this vision, if you want to build on this vision. I know I've gotten a couple of emails from people who have donated to the health issues that I've had and helping my family through that one couple actually has 40 acres of land, and I can't remember exactly where they're located, but they are just in love with just some of the things that I've hinted to, and some of the things that I've talked about previously, and they're excited to look into some of those things for their own property, and even building a community for themselves, and for other people, like-minded individuals that have that same vision and that same calling to be self-sufficient, to love one another, to love their neighbor as themselves. And so, family, this isn't just again something for me and my family. This is something that's been given to me from the Creator, for one of those ways that we can begin to heal this world and heal this planet and heal the heart of the collective. And so I love you guys. I wish you guys nothing but wholeness in everything you do, and balance in your life and in your emotional state, your mental state, and in, again, the things that the Creator is calling you to do as you step into a new web of the eternal now, and have an opportunity to bring forth that light into this dark world. And so I love you, family, wholeness, and balanced vibrations. Until next time, hopefully tomorrow, I wish you nothing but love.